forward.
You did.
You were just Well, Sarah was just staring at me the whole time, like she knew it was coming, like she was waiting.
I usually am waiting.
Boop, boop, boop.
Well, I often still am able to surprise you, but there was like an intent in your eyes. It was borderline malicious. You're like, when is he going to hit the button? When
I
is it
don't
happening?
trust him.
We have so much to talk about.
Oh, you do.
We do. It's a big episode. I'm sorry.
It's all right.
I should probably open the script.
But you don't have the script open?
Not yet.
Well-
we haven't started talking about the episode yet. You know?
While you're doing that, hi and welcome to Blank Bodies, a Vampire the Masquerade V5 tabletop and horror podcast. I'm your host, Hunter, and I'm joined by...
It's that, yeah, hey, this is John.
And,
This is Sarah. It's the second link. It's the bottom link, buddy. Anyways, we have reached the Banu Haqim clan deep dive series.
There it is.
Thing that was voted on by the patrons. For the order of us discussing the Vampire the Masquerade clans in a more thorough context for 5th edition Vampire. We have a whole catalog of all the other clans we've talked about.
we do.
You should check those out.
There's a couple.
There's several. We're actually getting towards the end of the list.
There is more than 5.
Yeah. So I believe for the next poll, we're just going to have the Thin Bloods and the Caitiff up, and then that's going to decide the final order leading up to Hecata month.
Whoa.
Nice.
Ayo.
Whoa.
Ayo. So
The all we have left is the one no one wants and the one everyone forgets exists. So
oh no.
and then Hecata month.
And then just you
Wait,
guys.
which is which?
That's what the patrons are going to decide on the poll.
Oh, okay.
That's one of the
gotcha.
benefits of supporting us with cash money. Is deciding how we run this dumbass show.
Deciding which one we forgot about and which one no one wants?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, as somebody who gets accused of being the redheaded stepchild, I feel a kinship with these last two in a very deep spiritual way. But anyways, so this episode is part 1. We'll be talking about the clan vibes, culture, disciplines, banes, the kind of general Banu Haqimi goodness. And then part 2 will be the clan history, major NPCs, lore sheets. And for the bonus episode, I'm gonna have something fun. I'm actively trying to work on something fun for the bonus episode because I know these episodes have been gonna be a little heavy.
Yay, fun.
Yeah. So we're gonna go from the fun police to just fun. So the content warning for these episodes so far is xenophobia, Islamophobia, sexism, violence, war, extremism, religious trauma, and genocide.
Wow.
I wish
That's really not that long
not
compared
that
to
long.
some of the ones we've had.
Compared to the Zmeetzi, Jesus Christ.
But I will say some of these are pretty heavy.
Weighty and topical.
Yes.
Weighty and topical.
Yes.
Yeah. Ew. We're gonna do our best here, though, to be informative and maybe, hopefully, fun. Some ha-has along the way.
Yay.
Yeah.
I can help with half that.
Hell yeah. So, sources for this episode, the V5 Player's Guide, the Camarilla book for the 5th edition, Cults of the Blood Gods, Forbidden Religion, Gehenna War, Sabat the Black Hand, Beckett's Jihad Diary, Clan Book Assamite Revised, Veil of Night, Lore of the Clans, Vampire the Masquerade, Victorian Age, and a supplementary book I literally did not know about until this episode, which is called The Succubus Club, Dead Man's Party, which is a neat old wad source book for, like, vampire socializing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so if that's a thing you want to build out more as a storyteller, not a terrible resource book, honestly.
It's got to be an Oingo Boingo reference.
I was about to say,
I
that's
feel like it's an
Oingo.
I feel like it's an Oingo Boingo reference. I would not be surprised.
Yeah.
Kind of fun thing, though, going through the old books is, and a lot of the section starts, they have quotes to plays, poetry, and bands, like songs.
Cool.
So some of them, you go through it, I'm just like, yeah, this man's playlist fucks. So if you're wanting to explore more music from, like, the 90s and the aughts, flipping through a VTM book's often not a terrible place to start.
That's true.
Yeah. So then we're gonna have what our tradition is with these episodes is some vibe reads of clan quotes. Let us go.
Revenge is the ending of wrath, the beginning of peace. Only in vengeance can peace exist. They fear us. And rightly, we shall be their doom, and they know it. You too shall be feared, if you are found worthy. Guard these pages well, for they are the truth and will show you the way. Resolve your heart. If you fail, you shall die with honor. You have already seen too much to turn back. Come.
Clan Book Assamite, page 3.
Out of curiosity, Jessica Carfax, do your allies in the Camarilla know just how many of your own clanmates you ritually murdered in order to levy your curse against us? Believe, Tremere, if it pleases you to do so, that you and your kind know more of blood magic than one who mastered it before the rise of Sumer. But I tell you now, your clan did nothing to mine that we did not permit. Tigurius, Beckett's Jihad Diary, page 101.
I cannot but faithfully report what the Rafiks have seen, as you charge me, strange as some of it may seem. Almut is lost. It is in the clutches of an ancient who was ancient when the children of Cain were young, a killer of killers. It is in the clutches of a witch with 3 eyes whose vitae enthralls those who partake of it in just one draught. It is in the clutches of a cult that reveres yet dreads the rising of those who have been judged. Sabat, the Black Hand, page 102.
Fuck yeah, guys.
Yeah.
You did a
Great
reading.
job.
Yeah.
Wait, did you say live reads as in we're supposed to
Well,
read
no. They will be.
it? Okay,
reading
good.
them.
Yeah, that's what I thought I heard them
Yeah.
doing, but then I was very confused because I looked at you and I was like, wait, she said live reads. And we're right now.
It's the magic of editing, John.
Boop, 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 boop.
Anyway, thanks Yvonne, Eric, and Ash.
Yeah,
Yeah.
good job, guys. Your voices are sultry.
Yes.
That's all I have for
That's
you.
okay.
That's it.
Fantastic. So, the fuck is this clan? What are they known for? I'm gonna start with the gigantic elephant in the room, and then we'll go to the fun stuff. So, the problematic start is fanatical male Muslim assassins, bracket derogatorily, end bracket.
Yeah.
It's kind of what most people go, Banu Haqim, yeah, it's just a terrorist, right? And I'm like, no.
Sometimes. But not as a
Sometimes
general rule.
It's not essential.
Yeah.
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 If you want to get into the details of why that's bad, we just did Orientalism and vampires previously. That's why I did that.
Good job.
So
Look at you, putting things in orders that make sense.
I've tried. It's
Yeah.
trying to build things too.
Well, we've had
conclusion.
plenty of examples of how not to do it with VTM books. And let's be real, Shadowrun books too. But, I think we've learned from other people's mistakes.
Yeah, exactly, as we should.
So we get to make all of our own new mistakes.
Yeah, if we make a new
Yay.
mistake, yell at me and we'll correct. That's how it goes.
Or we'll fight you.
If I'm actually wrong, no. But I will give the clan books for the Banu Haqim, the old ones, a nice little nod of credit on both of them having little sections that give like cultural notes of like films to watch and shit, and like
that's
books
neat.
to go read. And they're actually good references.
Really?
Yeah. I was very pleasantly surprised.
Hell
so
yeah.
that was such a nice change from the Ravnos episode where I literally through the book because I
Yeah.
was so mad. So I'm like, oh, okay. So you guys can do thing. Sick. Love that. But I'm also owning, because this is an audio-based medium, I am a white, so I'm not going to sit here and speak for all of
You're out of
Arab,
humanity?
pure Persian, Indian, Central Asian, Turkic folks. So I'm like, I don't know. You guys know your own cultures better than me. You tell us what would be a good source. But from what I can tell, at least, good options. Anyways, basically, yeah, so the stereotype of the fanatical male Muslim assassin is unfortunately a common view, not only within the text within characters of what the Banu Haqim are, it's also kind of a bad interpretation outside of the book, and it's a big chunk of the reason why I refused to let people play Banu Haqim at my table for a long time, because that's all people were doing, was like, I want to play Prince of Persia, and I'm like, I literally do anything else. Literally do anything else, my guy. I'm not asking you to, like, study the glorious light of Islam. But just have any understanding of things. I yet to have somebody bring up to me a Banu Haqim character that was essentially just Muad'Dib. I was expecting more of that in my youth.
Yeah.
No one ever did a Dune, which is not the best representation. Slightly better, but
Yeah.
you can't solve every problem with prayer and a stupid amount of drugs, shockingly.
Well, sometimes you need some worms too.
Yeah.
Yeah, this isn't Mage.
Sadly. Again, if you give us enough drugs, I'll figure it out. So, in the canon, it is written that the term Assamite is a Western term for the Banu Haqim. That's not how they refer to themselves. So Assamite in the text is used like a slur. I know that there are some old hats that don't view it that way, and I have run into Middle Eastern folks that like prefer the term Assamite over Banu Haqim. Play that by ear, please, guys. That's
Sure.
cool. That's just how I'm going to use it, because I'm like, that's how it's written in the text.
I'm sure it's based pretty much just individually too in in VTM.
Oh yeah,
Like large parts of the Banu Haqim probably are like, don't fucking call us that. But other ones are like, no, this new name, it's fucking dumb.
Yeah.
Probably an age thing.
Yeah, there might be younger ones that are like, I worked really hard to be an assassin, fuck you.
Yeah.
Which we'll get into. It's one of my new pet theories about the clan. Anyways, so within the older editions of Vampire the Masquerade, the clan is often presented as being male-dominated due to the prevalence of the warrior caste versus the viziers and the sorcerers. Which I'm gonna quick caption bullet a lot of points real quick on why this is fucked. So, I want to note that this view of Eastern cultures as a way to separate and otherize them as opposed to Western cultures being pro-woman ignores gender issues that exist in the West, as well as the wide variation of gender roles in various Eastern societies, both good and bad. I hate that shit when they're just like, oh yeah, no, we in the West, we respect women. And I'm like, you respect women? Girl, what? Where? No,
Could you please show me on the map?
Yeah. It's like, no, they force women to wear veils and not get education. And I'm like, bruh, you took away my body rights like not 2 years ago. The fuck you mean? Shut the fuck up. So that's a crazy take of trying to otherize things, being like, the Assamites are weird because they're all men and they don't respect women. And I'm like, girl,
Let
you
me show you this
women?
mirror.
Yeah,
real quick.
hold on. Let me just show you the Ventru for like 5 seconds, or the Tremere, or other clans that are known to have a sexism problem.
Just about all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like vampire societies are a horrifying mirror of human society with all of its flaws.
Is that more of an old world thing? The Banu Haqim are more of a male populated clan?
That kind of... It kind of comes down to a lot of Western vampires, which basically all the not Banu Haqim. So basically all the non-Banu, when they've dealt with Banu for centuries, it has been pretty much through the warrior caste exclusively. And that caste has skewed a bit male, but the thing I want to kind of argue is that this supports this assumed idea that men are inherently better physical fighters as opposed to societies giving men the support and training to fight.
So it's kind of like if the only Westerners you'd ever met were U.S. soldiers. And then, so you extrapolated that, most Westerners are male.
And they have that weird jarhead buzz cut.
Then that's all Westerners.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like, you want to reverse that for a second, you go, that's psychotic, what?
Okay. That makes sense. That makes a lot more sense. That's to say, as a whole clan just being like, no, they're mostly men. I was like, that's weird. I don't remember that. And also,
yeah, no.
I guess you don't have to reproduce in that sexually, so it's totally possible, but it is a weird vibe.
Yeah. I just kind of wanted to challenge the idea that's like men are inherently better physical fighters than women. I'm like, no, just some people are better at physically fighting than others based on a myriad of physical traits and training access. I don't think it's really a gendered thing. And if you really think it's like based on your assigned sex at birth and a gendered thing, I ask you to go to any fucking like forensic anthropology class. Just like for realsies. Because then you get to learn how many times we get a skeleton and we go, I don't know, them bones. It's like there's a lot of layer and overlap between a man bone and a female bone, and doing weird transvestigations on skeletons is a gigantic waste of time most of the time. But anyways, not like we've had a rediscovery of a bunch of historical skeletons being like, oh yes, this was a proud male warrior. Then we gone back to the math and we're like, actually statistically based on all the ratios, I think this was probably a lady. She just happened to have a sword, which is
Hell
cool.
yeah, lady with a sword.
Hell yeah, we do love women with swords.
Mm-hmm.
Other thing I wanted to note is this also traps men into cycles of violence by imposing limited expectations on the rules to physical fighting as opposed to academic and diplomatic pursuits. It's like sexism is bad in both directions.
Yeah.
Yeah, boys can pick up books and be soft.
I like books.
Hell yeah, books are dope. And you know what? You can also be good at fighting and like books.
I like to scrap sometimes.
You do. You can contain multitudes because you're a fully well-rounded person.
I read a book about fighting.
Hell yeah.
Was it Fight Club?
No.
I do like Fight Club.
Yeah.
It's a fun novel.
I think it's fun. I think it's very misunderstood. Anyway,
It
that's going
is,
to
but
get us
that's a
off
different
topic.
A thing I want to note is that this also conflates several ethnic and cultural groups with a religion, let alone conflating that one religion as being inherently violent, and this violence as being inherently moral or bad or suspect. More details on that in the Orientalism episode. But yeah, just being like, yeah, the Muslim vampires, all they do is stab. And I'm just like, that's fucked up as an idea on so many levels, but okay. Last thing I want to note is while many of the Banu are Muslim or are culturally Muslim, there's a lot of people that live in Islamic culture areas that aren't fucking Muslim. They're just a guy. Kind of like how in Christian areas, there's a lot of places that are Christian, that have Christians, and then there's people that are like just a guy that don't go to church, and he's like, yeah, I just run a bakery. Same thing in the Muslim areas where they're like, yeah, dude, I kind of do Ramadan for 3 days, I give up, and then I go to Eid.
Yeah, there's just as many people who are culturally Muslim as there are people who are just culturally Christian. Like
yeah.
I go on Christmas and sometimes on Easter.
Mm-hmm.
I give a little prayer before I go to bed sometimes if I remember, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
When I'm tired, I go to sleep.
Yeah. Yeah, there's that whole spectrum that exists in the Judeo-Christian cultural context exists in all the other religious contexts, because we're all people. Fucking imagine. Also, within the Banu, there are a numerous amount of Jews, Christians, Hindus, Buddhists, Sikhs, pagans, and non-theists.
Wild.
It's
like people be peopling.
Yeah! Anyways, speaking of peopling, the Banu Haqim are kind of known to be isolationists, which doesn't help with the whole cross-cultural thing. Anywho. The Banu have remained mostly within the Near East and the Middle East for most of their existence, which has been thousands and thousands of years. This range has been between Iberia, which is like Spain, all the way through to Punjab, which is like northern India. Just that whole swath. A lot of Banu.
That's a big good chunk of land there.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And this has changed slightly within recent nights due to the big schism, which we'll talk about on the history episode.
Whoop.
So there's a bunch of Banu just being like, everything's on fire, help, we're leaving. Please stop this. Oh god, oh god.
It's on fire in front of me. It's on fire behind me. It's on fire both sides of me.
Yeah, just like, hey guys, the olds are getting up. Hey guys, hey.
I recently saw a little video of a guy. His this warehouse is on fire, and he's got this bucket, and he's just holding this bucket, and he's like looking to one side and then looking to the other, and then he walks to the edge of the fire, and then the bucket's full of water, and he just whoosh on the fire. I feel like that's the Banu Haqim right now.
Yeah, they're trying their best.
I got this bucket, but everything's on fire.
Everything's on fire, and everybody thinks I only stab. I can't stab fire.
I need more buckets. They keep giving me knives.
I'm good with this, but this is not the tool we need. Yeah, kinda. The Banu have also remained mostly amongst themselves. This is due to a combination of Eurocentric vampires looking down upon those who are not from Europe, shocking no one. And the Banu have also opted out of a lot of the vampire politics that make up a lot of the socializing for vampires, because they're just like, I don't want to, this is dumb. No. And then the other vampires are like, well, I don't know how to literally socialize any other way, so I guess I'm not talking to you.
Oh.
And so the Banu are like, alright, I'm gonna go back to Alamut, I guess.
It's on fire over there, but I guess I have people to talk to.
It wasn't until recently. I had a cool library and stuff in there. It was great. And then...
Welp.
Yep. Then the ominous bad thing happened. This isolation has led to the clan having internal split roles and giving tasks amongst themselves. So a lot of the specialization that you have with the other vampire clans, where it's like, yeah, the Nosferatu do the intel sneaky things, and the Toreador or the social butterflies and politickies, and the Venture do business. Yeah, so instead of having that all split with different clans, the Banu just kind of assigned that amongst themselves. So they're pretty self-sufficient. They don't technically need the other clans to function under normal circumstances. Things are not normal, unfortunately. The Banu have an internal socio-political network that is really only rivaled by the Tremere Pyramid in terms of, like, complexities and, like, the amount of roles that are being filled. So who's to say if the Tremere maybe borrowed that system or if it was just divergent evolution of systems?
Who's to say?
Who's to say?
You are. The ST.
The ST, yes. Some of these systems within the Banu have been in place for at minimum 2,000 years. Others have been tradition since the antediluvian times, so before the Bible flood. Whenever that happens in the timeline at your table.
Okay.
About 8 weeks ago.
Rude.
It did rain a lot.
Yeah.
It did rain a lot.
So, the Banu are typically self-sufficient, but this also leads to a lot of tangled networks of factions within the clan that they try to just keep that as this is an internal fight we are having. Don't worry about that. That's fine.
Yeah, we'll figure it out, guys.
You're just hearing plates breaking and smashing and stabbing in the background, and they're just like, it's fine, don't worry about it. And they're just like, that sounds like a lot of problems.
Locks the door.
Yeah, don't worry about it. Closes the curtain louder. But also, this has led to many of the Banu Haqim don't keep up with the practice of prestation, so the system of, like, exchanging and keeping boons, they don't really do that. Or if they are, it's ones that have, like, joined the Camarilla and they're learning how to do this, and they're just like, what do you mean you don't just keep your word and follow promises?
That's fucked.
What do you mean I have to go tell a guy? Why is my word just not good enough? We'll get into why that's actually a problem in a bit. Other big thing the Banu Haqim are known for is justice!
Yeah.
Justice.
I'm Batman! I got a lightsaber! Which is sometimes fun in a story, but the reason they are like this is the Banu Haqim were tasked by their antediluvian to be the judge of all other vampires. So It's kind of like, Dad said it was okay.
Yes. Okay.
It's kind of my job. This has led to a lot of tension, not only with other clans, but also internally by interpreting what the fuck that means. Like, what does it mean when I dole out justice to other vampires? Do I just put them in jail? Do I rehabilitate them? Do I just do a stab? Can I diablerize all of them?
A stab?
There's also a lot of debate within the clan on who actually deserves final death, how that's carried out, and a multitude of other factors, so about as complex as any kind of philosophical or religious thought schools can be with their internal, like, schismatic differences and thoughts and things. That is also how the Banu Haqim are internally politically on interpreting any of their own internal customs and rules. So there's not one straight, clear-cut answer, which I find narratively interesting and fun to fuck with. It makes writing the episodes like this a nightmare. Because I can't give you guys, like, this is the answer. The answer is, I don't know, how about you make that the entire plot of your character?
You'll figure it out.
Yeah, it seems like this is what the Chronicle is going to be about when you play these kind of characters.
It's almost like the characters you make affect the story.
Yeah.
Weird.
Wild.
Don't do that.
This belief, though, of the Banu being the judges of all vampires does lead to some members of the clan to be rather condescending to outsiders, or having little regard for the laws and traditions of others.
I never would have guessed
Never would have guessed that.
No way.
A lot of the Banu Haqim are also very, very driven. They seem to have a kind of hyperfixation, whether it be like knife fighting, history, tech, marksmanship, art, poisoning, philosophy, you name it, somebody's got a hyperfixation on it. Reading through the books more intensely, the Banu Haqim read as really tism-coded. Like, they have a rigid thought structure, they have their routines and traditions, they, like, have their various hyperfixations, and I'm just like, they're all autistic. Which is a rude thing to say, but it's kind of, once you look at it like that, you're like, oh my god, they all make so much more sense now. They just have touched the tism, and that's fine.
That's fine.
Yeah. With the majority of the clan coming from the warrior caste, a lot of them tend to be really dogged trackers, detective soldiers, and it is also very rare for a Banu Haqim to give up on a lead or a target. They'd be like, no, I've got the thing, I'm gonna go do it. And it's like, are you sure you could just not do this? I'm finishing this!
I started it, it will be done.
I know I don't need to do this, but Gerald is a fuck, and everyone needs to know he's a fuck.
He's been a fuck for 2 decades straight. Literally straight. He hasn't done a nice thing in 2 decades.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you giving me grief on this?
Like, why has no one called him on a shit yet? Yeah. So so that's a fun just character trait, I thought. And the other one is well educated. Within this clan, they are often vetted and trained for very specific goals and skills. Mortals who are skilled in one area but lacking in another will be brought up to speed either prior to Embrace during a training ghoul phase or post-Embrace. It kind of depends on, like, the relation they have with their particular sire and, like, what socio-political faction and sect the sire is from. So there's, like, a myriad of different ways that this process is done, so it just kind of, if you want to look them up, there's a bunch of stuff in the old books if you need inspo. But the kind of overall theme that runs through it is the Banu tend to do a lot of, like, master-protege one-on-one training, and there seems to be a lot more of a deeper connection between sire and childer that's, like, a lot less toxic most of the time.
Most of the time.
Yeah, a lot of the Banu tend to look at their embraces as, like, it's an investment for the betterment of the clan and the community as opposed to, like, a personal thing.
Right. And
what that means depends on what faction they're involved in, really, more than anything else. So, that's up to your story.
Yay!
Ayo! The Banu also overall tend to value and respect skill. Preserving and utilizing techniques, crafts, and skills is sometimes the entire focus for an embrace. Positions of prestige within the clan are also usually tied to great skill that is recognized throughout the clan. So if you get really, 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 really good at a thing, you'll get, like, a position of respect, and that could later on lead to, like, an authority or power position, depending on how good you are at the thing.
I like that.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. They're also known for being more honorable than the other vampires.
I mean, that was kind of, like...
Yeah.
They keep their word.
Yeah.
That by itself.
Yeah. Each Banu has their own unique code of ethics that they stick to, and this usually is due to some combination of cultural tradition, clan faction, doctrine, and their own personal beliefs. So you can get really cool and nuanced characters out of Banu Haqim depending on, like, what cultural background, where they are in the vampire politics, and their own, like, personal stuff. Mm-hmm. So you can have that get as extreme or as, like, oof, my soul, you're just trying to be the goodest boy and you're a monster now, oh no. Do you want to play a daredevil? You can do that. That's like the best clan for it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I dropped my script. The Banu also tend to be the most truthful of the vampire clans. They have an internal social tradition that keeps them from lying to each other, even if they're in different factions. So so it's like, they will disagree with each other and they will fight with each other, but at the end of the day, they have a kind of unified understanding of, like, we are all still children of Hakim, so we need to, like, have that mutual respect for each other. Mm. So it would not be unheard of if there were, like, anti-tribute Sabbat Banu that would have a fairly decent relationship with Banu that have now switched over to Camarilla.
Interesting.
Yeah. It's, when you get into it, you're just like, wow, this is a cool story. I love the shit out of this. There's a lot of good plot hooks here. How the fuck do I put this in a script for the show? Because there's so many options. Also, another thing, while lying to other vampires is frowned upon, omitting intel and speaking in technicalities is not unheard of. So, most Banu won't lie to other vampires, but they're not held up to the same standard of the truth Tourette's as they are internally.
Right.
So, you could have characters that are like, I never technically lied, but I'm kind of splitting hairs with the language on what I am telling you, or not telling you.
Right.
So, be aware of that. Also, contracts. The Banu for centuries have had a system of bargaining and executing assassinations and other tasks through a arbitration process. So they would exchange large sums of cash, prized artifacts, scientific knowledge, as well as vitae in exchange for jobs. How much of any of those that would be done in exchange for the job depends on, like, the job itself, like how long the job's supposed to take, what's the value of the job, like how difficult the target is, how worthy and unworthy the target is to be assassinated. There's a whole, they used to have a whole council of guys that was their job, they would come, somebody's like, hey Banu, I need a guy assassinated. They'll go get the silsas, go get one of those council guys, and it would just be some fucking nerd come over and just with an abacus, essentially, and be like, okay, so who do you want assassinated? Ah, a prince. Okay, that's gonna be very expensive.
We can make it happen, but you gotta pay.
You gotta pay. but it will be done. And these contracts were upheld with strict adherence to the terms and conditions. They're just like, no more, no less. And we'll get into some of the fun, like, things that would happen with these contracts as the episode goes on. So in terms of the drip of the clan, I think it'd be really cool to have things like tactical gear and flair, like tech wear, streetwear, traditional garbs of the various cultures. Veiling and, like, modesty wear is something that is completely viable. Traditional jewelries, henna when appropriate, because vampires can't have tattoos stick for a long time, but if you decide to do, like, henna stuff, it's like, well, that goes away anyways, so
Technically, henna would probably last longer than a tattoo.
Yeah, it would.
Henna can last like a month. Tattoo would heal within like a week, probably,
or overnight.
It depends. It just depends how long it would take to heal, right?
Yeah, basically. Yeah, so if you, depending on how you run your game, if you do like you get to heal one superficial each night because you're spending the rouse anyways, because I've seen people homebrew that, and I think that's kind of a good thing.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I would just catch the tattoo.
I like that.
Another option for clothing that I've seen in the art that I think is cool is what I've kind of dubbed spy core. So it's like very John Wick, Veda, very, what's her name from Resident Evil? Ada Wong? Is that her name?
From Resident Evil?
Yeah, stuff like that. If you want to get into that kind of, like, cool, like, action sci-fi versions of character aesthetics, I think that's dope.
You do a Hitman. Agent 47.
Yeah.
I think that'd be kind of fun, because he specifically would kind of divorce the clan from, like, the Muslim reading of it, and it's kind of like, no, I don't know who I am.
Yeah, you don't need to know.
I don't know. I'm just an assassin.
I'm just a guy.
I was raised to be an assassin.
Yeah.
That's all I know. So then you can play that character, and then you don't have to be like, but I'm doing it for a god that I don't really know too much about the religion of. So, yay.
I'm doing it for this burnt guy in a mountain. It's crazy, dog. Other things is, there is a bunch of cultural history for, like, cola, which is eyeliner and, like, perfumes and cologne. So if that's something you want your character to get into, go for it. Hidden knives. Just look up all sorts of crazy different harnesses to hide a knife.
Some of them are neat.
Some of them are really
Dude, cool. I saw not too long ago, I saw this dude who got a cowboy boot that had the wooden heel on it, you know, like traditional style. And he took it and he carved out a good chunk of the inside of the wooden heel. And then he modified spurs that they could, like, click into place where he carved out the hollow. And he forged a punch dagger that fit perfectly into that hollow. And then the spurs went down and held it in place.
Ew.
And when he stepped, it would, like, ding, just a little bit. I was just like, fuck, that's cool.
Yeah, so just a cowboy Banu.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of neat,
That'd be
actually.
dope.
Use his lassos. Fuck him up, boy.
Hell yeah. Oh, God, and then one of those, like, curved, like, Rancho knives.
Yes.
Those are terrifying.
They are.
Other aesthetics I thought would be good was, like, athletic wear. Because if you're doing, like, edge runner kind of parkour, I'm stealthing through a city, no one's going to pay attention to a jogger.
Yeah.
Also, you're more, like, efficient and you have less stuff. Yeah.
My favorite so far has been tech wear.
Yeah.
Like that right on the edge of being cyberpunk, like, aesthetics, but still, like, almost tactical.
Yeah.
Very
like,
cool looking.
And the cool thing with a lot of tech wear is there's a lot of stuff built in for masking, and it's very easy to transfer that into complying to various, like, cultural modesty traditions, if that's something you want to deal with with your character, if that's something they want to carry over.
Yeah.
Also, yeah, a lot of tech work stuff. Weirdly practical with just, like, the stupid amount of, like, pockets, and a lot of it's kind of baggy, so great places to hide weapons. Ayo!
Yeah.
Yeah. Colorful textiles. They also do modesty wear, so you can either be, like, super colorful or just very, like, tactical, muted tones. You got a lot of options with either of those. Also stealthy clothes, so layered outfits that can be changed quickly for, like, switching, like, silhouettes and entire outfits, or, like, doing kind of protest black bloc. You have a lot of different options. I think there's just a wide variety of cool options that you can do instead of just, I have camo.
Yeah.
Or I have a keffiyeh, I guess I'm Middle Eastern, and I'm like, you could think about this a little bit more. Not that keffiyehs aren't cool, but, like...
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of
I
options.
mean, you can have a
them.
keffiyeh.
Yeah, no, I've got several.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can just have one. You don't have to be...
Yeah, you can just have one. There's nothing stopping you.
Yeah, right. You don't have to be anything specific to have one of those
Yeah.
things. So, you know, If you don't know anything, don't make your character that way.
Yeah, I just want to make sure we're also opening up the drip to being more than just like, Banu Haqim the warrior,
sure.
so it's only the tech gear of like paramilitary guy and that it. And I'm like, no, you can do
There's
this in so
much
many
more.
different ways.
Yeah.
And all of it looks dope as shit. There's also a lot of really cool character art for the clan from various artists that if you need inspo, that's like culturally accurate to the backgrounds of wherever the fuck you're playing your character from. There's lots of options. Go check it out.
Whee!
Anyways, this clan is also known as the Assassins, the Mediators, the Saracens, Judges, the Angels of Cain.
Oh.
And they are the Clan of the Hunt.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, them or Gangrel.
Yeah.
That's kind of the two. It would be the Clan of the Hunt to me. And really, the Gangrel aren't organized enough. So
No, these guys have the hyperfixation. I'm gonna get it.
yeah.
I'm gonna get it. Whether it's a person or knowledge, I'm gonna get it.
You think the Banu Haqim are like dachshunds if they were a dog?
What do you mean?
What do you mean
Where
by
did this
that?
go? What?
They are like dachshunds are bred like the way that they're bred for a very specific purpose, and that is get that fucking thing in the hole. And they will do everything they can to get the fucking thing in the hole.
Me too, brother.
Right. Oh, god damn it.
Ayo.
Ayo.
Anyways.
So I'm just saying, like, you know, they root things out, they hunt things down. They are very specialized. Outside of that thing, sometimes they get very confused.
You know our Discord is just gonna turn into nothing but people editing Muslim
Dachshunds.
headwear on dachshunds.
That's
Make us some dachshund, some
Like, they're gonna
dachshund
have,
Banu
like-
Haqim.
Yeah, they're gonna have like the little skull caps or little hijabs.
I want him in a little paramilitary gear.
Oh god.
He's gonna be so cute.
you probably Google that up, but please Photoshop it instead because I feel like that would be fun.
That would just be fun. All right, so
I love
continuing on
fun.
with the fun. The laws of Hakim and also the Kabar. So, the Banu, by and large, have not followed, and many still really don't follow the 6 traditions of the Camarilla. They kind of just like, I got my own set of rules. Good news is laws of Hakim kind of follow decently enough with the 6 traditions from the Camarilla, so like, if they're in your city, it should be fine, but there's a potentiality for there to be some tensions. Woohoo, we love tensions and plot.
Tension.
So, the laws of Hakim are a set of decrees that were given by Hakim himself for his children to follow, and they go as thus. So, there is the law of leadership, which is honor the eldest among you, for he is to rule my house when I am absent. And the way this is handled in the clan is the eldest, aka the old man. That's kind of used interchangeably. Normally, it's called the eldest, though.
Old man.
Yeah. Because for the longest time, because they lived in Alamut, the eldest would be referred to as the old man of the mountain. Not no more. Now it's a problem. But anyways, we'll get to that. This is not ominous foreshadowing. So the eldest is typically the oldest direct child of Hakim or the next closest available. The eldest can be replaced if all 3 members of the Duat agree that you're doing a bad job, dog. Get the fuck out. So they have like a little checks and balance system.
That's good.
And the Duat is a council made up of the heads of each of the cast. But this got all fucked up because Earl Shagi woke the fuck up, and we'll talk about that later.
That'll be fun.
Yeah. There's a lot of really neat in-clan, like, cultural, structural things, but much like the Ministry, their shit got fucked. So, in terms of V5, it's one of those, hey, if you want to pull this as a resource for your table and game, that's fantastic. It's not really applicable in terms of the metaplot canon as much anymore, so I didn't want to spend a lot of time talking about something and then be like, hey guys, now we just gotta throw all this away. That seems like a waste of everybody's time. Anyways, the next law, protection. Ward the mortals from Cain's descendants and treat them with honor in all things. So the Banu tend to protect mortals, especially from other vampires. So it's not necessarily a masquerade, but the masquerade can be interpreted as like
part of that. That makes sense.
So I assume it's just up to the individual Banu, but like, how far do they take that? Like to the point that like, oh, that guy is about to commit a breach. I'm gonna just kill him now.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's viable.
Got it.
There's been accounts of like Banu sacrificing themselves to like protect mortals all the way through to somebody interpreting this rule so hard that they kind of end up going in the other direction.
Oh, the like robot take over the world kind of theory where you're like, I have to keep you safe. You're not allowed to leave your house anymore. Kind of thing.
That could be that. There's also we'll get into it, but it's like a level of psychotic extremism that you're like, oh no.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Next rule, destruction. Slay not those of the blood, for the judgment is for the eldest alone.
So don't kill other vampires. Or are they specifically talking about their blood? So don't kill other Banu Haqim.
This line is highly debated on who is of the blood.
Damn.
There's no agreement.
Fuck, I wish I was looking at the script.
Yeah,
I'm
that's okay.
too busy looking at these dogs.
I mean, dogs are cool.
Yeah.
The word. Deceive not those of the blood, for my house is founded on truth. This is why they have the don't lie rule. And this is also a not fully agreed upon on what the fuck that means. They're like, okay, we don't lie to each other. Outside of that, it's a little like, you shouldn't. It's a little hurt on, but like, you gotta do what you gotta do. Yeah. And others are like, no, never lie. Dad said it's bad. So you can get a lot of fun with that. And then the last one is judgment. Judge those of Cain's blood and punish them should they be found wanting.
All right.
Okay.
This line is also highly debated on what counts as destruction and how this works within the destruction rule, as well as what punishment means and who's worthy of. There's just thousands of schools of debate on this.
They really need like an Excel sheet that you can check off boxes, and if so many boxes get checked, then like, okay, we know.
Yeah, well, Daddy Hakeem went to go get cigarettes a few centuries ago, so
right, forgot to open the Excel document.
Yeah, it's password locked. We have no idea what the password is. We keep typing in Justice 1 2 3 4 5. It doesn't work.
It didn't work?
Did not work.
All right, well, maybe we should do it the other way. Justice 5 4 3 2 1.
Yeah, I tried that.
Ooh,
okay.
Countdown.
Fuck, it didn't work.
So, the Kabar is another set of codes and customs within the clan. This was more I found in the original Clan Assamite book.
This is more old book stuff.
This is old book, but I think there's some stuff in here that's cool for just general clan traditions and vibes that if you want to pick this up and run with it, it's kind of a cool way to like flesh the clan out a little bit more based on what we already have for V5. So the first tradition with Kabar is loyalty. This is for loyal and duty to the clan, keeping one's ambitions in check against the interests and needs of the clan as a whole. The next one is brotherhood. This tradition maintains peace between the Banu to support one another regardless of faction or sect.
So is this like brotherhood here? I mean, we kind of already chatted about it, but like, is this like how they say the Freemasons should work, where you got your ring, and if you have your, you're broken down on the side of the road, you should just be able to hold up your ring, and another Freemason sees it, pulls over, helps you?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. It's kind of just it's spoken about, but it's kind of just an expectation that the Banu are supposed to support and care about each other as like a wider community, as opposed to being as like personally worried about my power and my venditions and things like that. So it's expected of like, yeah, if you're a Banu and you see another Banu in trouble, you go do the thing.
Cool. Okay.
You're just kind of expected to.
Right.
Honor. This tradition maintains personal honor. Your word is your bond, and it is an insult to demand a written contract of a Banu Haqim. So that's why the prestation thing kind of chafes with a lot of them, where they're just like, I said I would do the thing.
Yeah.
Do you not trust me? Why are we writing this down?
I like that.
That's rude.
What a dick. See if I work with you again.
Yeah. And also in Uno reverse, promises, oaths, and contracts given to the Banu are taken deadly seriously.
So if you're like, you do this for me, I will pay you this much money, and then you pay them 98% of that money.
Yeah.
They could be like, well, I'm gonna have to hurt you now.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I'm going to ruin you.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this is a dishonorable piece of shit.
Yeah.
That not only, like, besmirches his name, he now besmirches mine. Gotta solve this problem now. Which I think leads to some really interesting potential plot things, because, so when you read the Camarilla V5 book, there's a series of letters written by Victoria Ashe talking about each of the clans in terms of her romancing people from the other clans. And she writes about the Banu where there was a guy that was like into her, but like in like a ye olde chivalrous kind of way. And she was like, we didn't really like, he was cute, but like whatever, as the Tory order went to do.
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah, he died in like pitched combat for my honor.
Whoa.
Because he just liked me like that. And I'm like, damn, that's kind of metal.
Yeah.
So
okay,
yeah, so the how far the honor thing goes for your characters and your plot and whatever kind of skew according to your table.
Cool.
Vengeance. Those Banu who are slain due to betrayal, false contract, trickery, or bad intel will be avenged.
Cool. I like the bad intel one.
Mm-hmm.
Like the rest of them, they're obviously on purpose, but bad intel could just be like, oh, I accidentally got bad intel I didn't even know. And the Banu are like, well, you should have done your fucking research, shouldn't you have?
Stab.
Yeah.
Get good.
Not too late. Oh, shit.
Yeah. Well, the avenged thing does not necessarily mean to final death.
Right.
It often does.
Yeah.
But you could just be like, oh, bad intel, stab. Understand I could kill you.
This is your one.
Mm-hmm. Don't fuck up. And then just obfuscates into the darkness. If a vampire overcomes the Banu's attempt on their unlife, so typically an assassination attempt or whatever, it is basically assumed, hey, if I try to assassinate you and you beat me, fair game. Good game. GG. I'm gonna tap out and I'm gonna go back to the other Banu and be like, hey, so Benny lived? We're not taking contracts on him anymore. We're done.
Interesting.
So if a Banu tries
cool.
to assassinate you, typically,
You just got to get through the one.
you just gotta get through the one.
Just get through.
And then they put you on the wall of no touch. No touchies.
I like the fact that, or the vision that it's like a picture at any restaurant that has like an eating challenge, where it's like, I ate the 20-pound cheeseburger, and it's just like, I didn't get assassinated.
Heyo. Also, the vampire who survives the failed assassination, according to the clan's internal traditions, has free reign to get revenge on the guy that tried to kill him.
Really?
They're just like, hey man, you fucked up. Like, if he decides to just stab you, yeah. The
Damn.
guy's like, yeah, I guess.
Wait, say that again. So if
a Banu tries to assassinate your character, and you win, and, like, you fend them off, you flee...
Whatever the case
is, and you survive.
you're allowed to then go after them?
Yes.
Not
And-
the person who hired them, but them.
Yeah.
Well, theoretically, you're never going to know who hired them.
Yes.
That's true.
Yeah, you're not gonna know.
But you can be like, so that's like all bets are off. That whole like, if you know a Banu who sees another Banu in trouble, but
they'll show up and be like, "Hey, what's going on?" And he's like, "That guy tried to kill me," and I'm gonna. And they're like, "Oh shit, okay."
That's my bad. Sorry, dude.
I'm staying out of this one,
Yeah,
boys.
that's
Okay.
a like, oh well, okay, and they might even just watch and be like, oh, "Okay, I'm gonna see how this goes." It's like, I'm sorry, you should have stabbed him better. Like,
I specifically showed you how to stab real good. I don't know why you didn't.
This is literally the one thing we're known for doing. Like, we're actively trying to convince people we do other things than this, but you can't also fuck it up.
like this is our one.
We do have a reputation to uphold, okay? We want to build on that. We want more.
Yeah.
But this one's kind of important.
Yeah, you're not obligated to go Uno reverse tag like a Banu who would try to assassinate you, but if you decide to pursue that, the other Banu are not going to stop you.
Huh.
They're just like, all right, well.
Now, here's the question. Could you then say, oh, okay, you tried to kill me. Hey, Banu, I want him dead.
That would be a whole... I gotta get a whole abacus for that. Hold
Yeah.
on.
Wait a minute.
So theoretically, you could put a Banu Haqim like hit on another Banu Haqim if that Banu Haqim failed at assassinating you. Theoretically.
Potentially?
Okay.
That might be a little squirrely depending on like who you're talking to.
It might be a like, look, you can kill him, but we're not going to do it.
Like,
for
I'll
you.
train you to kill him.
Right.
You want to do that deal? Hell yeah, I'll do the fuck out of that.
Cool.
And then you get
But
a cool
it's
training
not gonna be
montage
me.
of let's get down to business to defeat the Huns.
Let's
Which
get
is super
down
fun.
to business to kick that guy's ass.
Yeah, just a whole sequence where you're like, I know Kung Fu. You might now.
It's possible.
Just like, that's dope as shit. Damn, I kind of want that to be a plotline now. That's kind of fun. All right, secrecy. This tradition protects the clan as a kind of second masquerade. No snitching. No snitch. Alamut also must be kept secret. Which is why even with the schism happening, the Banu are not like, the mountain's over there, we need to nuke the mountain. Because they're just like, that's like our secret house. Dad lives there. We can't like, fuck. Now we're in a weird catch-22. We're like, Urshigi's a problem. All of his, like, the shepherds of there, that's a big problem.
Big problem. Nuke that place 12 times.
And it's just like, we can't nuke our house, because then we'd have to tell people where Alamut is.
You know those, that I don't know if it's actually a thing, but they were talking about making those, what is it called, rods of heaven, that are like telephone poles made of tungsten that fall from space. We just need to do that to him.
Probably. You know, with enough falling damage, anything is possible.
Right on the top of the noggin. I'm just saying.
Yeah, but yeah.
Though I guess with enough potence, that could be a problem.
Yeah, but then you'd also still have to run into the problem of giving away where Alamut is.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Look, you're Banu Haqim. Just get up to the space station and do it yourself. Come on. What the fuck?
Okay, so continuing on. The Banu are allowed to lie about their clan to outsiders.
Okay.
So some Banu will use this as like that's how they infiltrate cities. Is they'll pretend to be like, yes, I'm some other clan, yes. And then while you're maintaining this persona, you may lie, steal, murder, so long as you don't compromise your personal honor. So you can just create a whole other person to pretend to do your job and then fuck off.
That's
So
pretty cool, actually.
You can just have like your fake personality that you only use for
Doing fucked shit.
yeah, and then you're like, oh, back to being Greg.
Yes.
Oh, we're letting Jerry out this weekend.
Oh, spicy weekend. Jerry's out. Is that what?
Cracks
Is that
knuckles.
Jerry the arsonist this whole time?
Oh
He's been
my
a secret
gosh.
Banu.
Oh
shit. Oh no! New layers have been unveiled.
That would also be
You just explain a lot.
That'd be insanely funny if a Banu who's just uses that specific rule as an excuse to burn stuff. Oh, I'm going undercover. They would never expect the arsonist to be an assassin.
He burns things, not kill people.
He's just a silly little guy.
Well, I mean, one can cause the other.
do we-
but
Right.
Do we know where Jerry's been for the past few weeks? Because there was that plantation that burned down.
I'm not complaining.
I'm not complaining either. I'm just like, where the fuck was Jerry?
Jerry, just hit us up real quick. Let us know.
Let us know.
I just want to know you're okay.
Yeah. Faith is another tradition. It's encouraged to have some sort of faith system for the Banu, whether it's actually a religion or some sort of personal ideology. Just, it's encouraged to be like, you need to believe in something bigger than yourself and don't be a fuck.
Could it, like, I mean, so in, like, the anonymous programs, like AA and things like that, they talk about how you need to have, like, a higher power.
Yeah.
Some people just use the program as their higher power.
Yeah.
Because they're like, God's not real, but this thing is bigger than me and this thing can help me.
Yeah.
Would they do that with the Banu Haqim?
Essentially, that's kind of what, like, the Path of Blood is, which I'll talk about in a second.
Okay.
That's, like, kind of like a version of that, where it's a Path of Enlightenment. Like, there's a lot of Banu that use, like, the teachings and philosophies from Hakim as, like, their higher power. Some people use their dedication to the clan as their, like, faith, and, like, I believe in the clan and the good of what we're trying to do.
Sure.
Some believe just in a vague concept of justice or freedom or...
Okay, so they just need some sort of higher power that they can have guiding their steps.
It's
kinda
encouraged, but, like,
it's kind of like AA.
Yeah, it is. You got A and A.
Hey.
Ayo. And then community. This tradition asks that each Banu not only serve the clan, but they should do so humbly. Those of the clan who go out to serve the clan are performing a sacred and honorable act, regardless if this pursuit is martial, academic, or political. So it's like hey, you're doing things for the group, and when you're doing it, you're not doing it because, like, look how good I am. Like,
No.
You're not doing that Twitter, like, look how woke and good I am. Like, I
gave this houseless person $100.
Yeah, just I like the woke scold shit. That shit that would not fly with the Banu. They're just like, okay, no, you're not actually helping the community. You're just doing shit so people would think you're a good person. You're not actually, like, fucking helping.
Yeah,
that shit would not fly.
So the Banu don't just post on Twitter. You gotta actually do something.
Yeah, actually do stuff. And then when you're actually doing that, it's something that is, like, given a lot of weight and, like, positive, like, affirmations, even if it's like hey, I'm gonna go out and learn how to do this form of mosaic tiling. Like, art forms and academic pursuits are given just as much weight as, like, the martial training.
That's cool. I like that.
Which is dope. It's like, we're encouraging you to be a better person because it makes the clan better.
Right. I like that.
Which is dope.
Personal growth.
Yeah, and then we get to the Path of Blood.
Oh.
So, Path of Blood is a Path of Enlightenment. We've not really done an episode on these yet. Probably should soon. I'm not sure where on the timeline I'm going to stick it. But this is a belief system that basically would mean that the character is not following the humanity track and systems, and V5 doesn't really have the best way to handle actively going on a Path of Enlightenment, at least according to the rules as writ. I do believe there's rules for that in the Storyteller Vault's, like, Sabbat guidebooks, if you want to delve into that. I recently bought phys copies of those, so I haven't read them fully, but I believe there's stuff for that in there.
Cool.
But all that to get to say is the Path of Blood is an extremist ideology that only the Banu are allowed to exist on this. So there's no Path of Blood people that are not Banu Haqim.
What happens if you are not Banu Haqim and you end up somehow getting on the Path of Blood? Do they just like, nope, you're not allowed?
Yep.
Stab.
Yep.
Okay.
So this belief is that they can attain communion with Hakim by consuming other vampires through the art of diablerie. They are to keep their beast in check at all times and control it, and they are to seek to eliminate all vampires on Earth, save for those who are righteous in wielding the powers of Cain, which is basically just themselves. Seeing that those who are of Cain are corruption and are the cause of all suffering of Hakim and his children.
Oh.
Yeah, there's a whole belief that, like, Hakim became a vampire to fight Cain because Cain and vampires are terrible blights upon the planet. So Hakim did a blade.
I see.
And so all the offspring of Hakim, their job is to support Dad in his quest to get rid of all vampires.
Destroy all vampires.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And it's like, the logic in the text is weird, because sometimes in the text it sounds like those on the Path of Blood believe that Hakim submitted to becoming a vampire or was embraced against his will by Cain or some shit. And other ones, it makes it sound like Hakim is his own fucking entity separate of Cain. It's a little vague.
Okay.
If somebody in the community has better citations than what I've been able to find so far, I would love to get that, but there's also a lot of changes for the Banu Haqim between the different editions of Vampire, so some of it, shockingly, is not super consistent.
Wow.
They've done some big changes on the clan over the years.
I would not have expected that.
Most of them have been, in my opinion, positive changes, but, what do I know? And basically, also with the Path of Blood, the relationship with mortals is weird, because many are taught that they're not to despise mortals, but a lot of those on the Path of Blood kind of also just disregard mortals in their pursuit of their objectives against vampires. So it's like, yeah, don't go out of your way to hurt mortals, you're not supposed to, like, go after them. But if there's collateral damage while you're pursuing vampires, it's fine.
Okay. So if you have to burn down that entire warehouse full of people because there is a vampire in there who's just a fucking dick.
Well, yeah.
You're okay.
It's fine. Well, yeah, they're dying, but they're martyrs now because of getting rid of that one vampire. We're actually saving humanity.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, it's a little twisted and fucked up.
I do kind of like the idea of a Banu who's just like, no, I hate all vampires, but I'm specifically putting up with the Sabbat not because I agree with them, but because they're just good at destroying other vampires.
That's been a good chunk of the Banu anti-tribute for a long time. It's just been like, I'm here to chew gum and kill vampires, and these guys are really gonna let me do that.
When they try to say no, I get to kill them.
Yeah, and their friends cheer and give me a cool hat.
It's real weird, but I'm digging it.
Weird.
All right.
So yeah, there's canonical backing for what your idea is.
I think that's really fun. I like the idea of Sabbat who are just like aren't fanatical. Oh, they're fanatical in their own way, but they're not fanatical about anything the Sabbat stands for or cares about. They're like, yeah, all right, you go do your church thing. I'm gonna go kill some more dudes.
Yeah, it's like, yeah. Look, I'm here to kill the antediluvians. Not because I think I'm gonna save the world by killing just the antediluvians. I'm killing all vampires.
They're on the list.
Everybody's on the list.
Yeah.
You are too, but you're helping right now, so...
Keep helping.
Yeah. It's wild. But when it comes down to vampires, it's very cut and dry. If you're out of clan, if you're of Banu, and you run into Path of Blood guys that are like, hey man, this idea is pretty cool. You should listen to Dad. Dad's got cool rules. And you're like, I don't really like how you're interpreting Dad's rules. That's a little weird. You seem a little crazy. Look, you haven't blinked in 5 minutes.
We don't need to blink.
Yeah, why would we need to do that? I am a shark. Yeah, if it's that, the choices are convert or die. If you're not of the clan, your option is death.
Oh.
There's actually, like, tenets within the Path of Blood that, like, you take moral stains and stigmas for not killing vampires.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's intense.
It's very intense.
Most of the paths are.
Yeah.
It's like being on a path of enlightenment is a conscious choice to remove yourself from humanity, so it's going to be intense.
Because you're
I didn't need it
dehumanizing
anyway.
yourself.
All right. I should have practiced how to say this word.
3, 2, 1, go. 3, 2, 1, go.
The tire that's getting more pressure now. Oh God. Dewakhana.
I love it.
It's a Kurdish word. I don't fucking know how to say this, guys. I'm sorry.
You did so well,
Hey.
I think.
I'm trying. Anyways, this is a tradition maintained by many in the clan based off of the Kurdish practice of spending the last few hours of the night in the company of your own to build community and bonds and share intel and kind of wind down for the night. Which I think is kind of dope. It's just it's a thing I have seen in several like travel and like cultural videos where it's like end of the evening and there's like a lot of like late night cafes and like hookah places and stuff you can go in like Middle Eastern places to go just like get a snack and vibe at like towards the end of the night. And I'm just like, that's cool as shit.
Yeah, I like that.
So the Banu just kind of also just as a clan kind of just do this if there's a few of them in an area that just kind of all go like, hey, you want to go to this place and like hang out and shoot the shit? It's kind of like the Banu Haqim's version of the cookout TM.
Dig it.
Yeah. And if you are invited to this as a non-Banu, it's a great sign of respect.
Nice.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so usually it's like just a clan thing where they're like, all right, cool guys, we've done all our business, end of the night, we're gonna go do Banu stuff. Hey Tabitha, you wanna come hang out?
Hell yeah!
And you're like, yeah, so if a Banu invites you to just like come hang out with the other Banu, just say yes. Because it's gonna be really awkward if you don't.
Mm-hmm.
You're just like, yeah, I'll come along, please no stab. And they're like, why would we stab? You're cool.
You're coming to the cookout.
Yeah.
Yay.
So, as I've alluded to before, a big part of the social structure for the Banu Haqim is basically this, like, structured factionalism. So they do have internal, like, hierarchies and councils and all that kind of stuff, but it's all, until, like, recently, it's been all kind of equally valid. Like, there's the main clan structure that did exist before Urshigi got up, where you had the eldest and then the Duat Council and all these other things, and then you had different factions with their own little leaderships, and they would all essentially agree to help and work with each other at the end of the night, but like, you know, it's kind of vibes based, but it works. So it's a little wonk. So I've tried to streamline this as best I can as a tool that people can carry over into 5th ed. So while the formal caste structure has fallen away in the recent nights, the Children of Hakim have several different political factions. I'm going to talk about the 2 big ones for this episode. If you want to get into more in smaller ones, go for it. One of the funniest ones I found was like, it's called like the 1,000 Mile Club, and it was just Banu that are just really into sniping.
Huh.
That's just their hyperfixation. So they have a gun club.
Okay.
That's all they do.
Cool.
Is
I
they
love the
snipe,
idea
but
that
with
they have,
vampire
like-
powers, so they're like so far away.
Yeah. I love the idea that they're like, essentially it's like a telegram for that club, that they're just like, hey, check it out, I shot somebody from 30 miles away. I got it on video. Send.
Yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Yes, absolutely. So the clan does not rely on blood bonds to maintain their hierarchies. It's usually traditional loyalty and sometimes indoctrination. Because it's vampire and sometimes people are icky.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they don't do the blood bonds thing. So automatically better than the pyramid.
Nice. Good for them.
Yeah, they're just
Good job,
kind of,
guys.
yeah, we're just like, could you just vibe? And they're like, no, I'm causing a problem. Like, dude, just be chill. If you're not, I'm going to stab.
Yeah, I think that works almost just as well as a blood bond, except it's slightly less toxic.
Yeah.
Like, look, if you cause enough problems, we have to get rid of you. We don't want to.
Yeah, I put a lot of time and effort, and you seemed cool.
You seem really cool. How about you just chill?
You're gonna get disinvited from the hangout.
Do we have to kick you out of the cookout? You're here, dude. You're here.
just bullying like a really buff guy. Oh man.
I'm sorry, guys.
Sorry.
It's fine. Just don't hit Tabitha. She's our guest.
Okay. So, the 2 major factions, at least that carried over into V5, is there's the first one I'm going to talk about, which is in the old editions, they're referred to as the Loyalists. V5, a lot of them are referred to as like the Shepherds of Earl Shagi. There's a lot of crossover between these two, and there's like smaller groups within the Loyalists as well. It's really cool, but I'm trying to keep this as simple as possible. So the Loyalists are predominantly warriors who have viewed themselves as better than other vampires in the way that most vampires view mortals.
Okay.
Yeah, they're like, I'm the predator of predators. Dad said I'm in charge.
Okay.
Great.
Yeah.
That's not a problem.
Not at all. And while many are not adherents to the path of blood, they will uphold many aspects of the belief system.
Because it's important.
Yeah. And, and as if you're going to the Shepherds of Urshagi, they have their own interpretations of the Lava Hakim that are very in line with the path of blood in a way that you go, oh, no, it's just a cult.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a cult that got into a government position. Son of a bitch. I have no idea what that's like now.
I was about to say that same thing.
I know. Topical.
Weird.
So, the Loyalists are hierarchical with the seat of power in Alamut, with Urshagi as the eldest, and Amaravati as the surviving leader of the sorcerers. And there is currently debates on who will be leading the warriors. I haven't seen a canonical name for who's in charge of that yet. I may have missed it. I was reading a lot of shit, guys.
But that means you can decide.
You can decide if you want, yeah.
Make up your own.
Yeah. So with Urshagi at the head, the shepherds travel the globe to recruit through pashas, interacting with potential followers on the street level. So have Daddy Urshagi, and then there's the various, I think there's like 12 shepherds that travel the planet to organize recruiting. And then underneath them is a bunch of pashas that are just like, hey Doug, you wanna get good at stab?
I mean, I have always liked stab.
Do you wanna?
Do you get a 401k?
Yeah, what's the retirement plan?
Diablerie.
What's that? It sounds neat, but I'm not really sure I understand.
I'm not satanic, so I don't think I'm into that. But
wait, that game? Do we just play that game? You run around killing demons?
Yeah, basically.
It's Diablerie. I don't know what number they're on now.
Yeah, it's 4, I think.
Yeah,
anyways. Okay. This does include having Thin Bloods recruited into the cult. If they are found worthy, they will be given unworthy Banu Haqim to diablerize to make them into
oh hell yeah
extremist Banu Haqim.
Interesting.
They are down bad for their ideology in a way that you go, oh no.
Yeah.
I have a plan for a Thin Blood character now.
Oh shit.
They're not really into it, but they've heard.
I heard there's a way to be not like this. I would like people stop stuffing me into a locker, please. And the Pasha's like, yes, child, come. I'll invite you to, I've been told it's called the cookout now. Seems a strange way to refer to it.
Yeah, we don't eat anything.
Well, you're going to.
I was going to say, that's the whole reason
Yeah. A smaller kind of faction from the old books that I think would be interesting to kind of highlight within the contemporary cult of Urshagi and all that, the shepherds, is the Silsila Council. This is made up of spiritual leaders that have helped to guide and enforce the laws of Hakim within the clan. They were super down bad for Urshagi being like, ayo, I'm getting us ready for Dad to come back. And then these guys went, fuck yeah, concrete. Let's go. But the Silsila were the guys that would take the abacuses to go do the contracts. Yeah, so if you're one of those, if you want to have a plot point of hey, yeah, I heard my sire told me that if I wanted to get a guy knocked off, I gotta talk to a Banu because they'll get the job done. And then you reach out and you happen to get to one of these guys.
Yeah. And
you're just like, oh no.
These guys are a lot more intense than I thought.
Yeah. So they killed that guy, and now they're killing me. Oh no! Oh no! But a lot of the loyalists are Banu that are really into the path of blood, and it's also a lot of elders that don't like the Banu that are now following what they're referring to as the young gods. Yeah, it's a little what? What do you mean? What do you mean? That's a hell of a sentence to say, my guy.
That is kind of a big sentence. Few words, big sentence.
Yeah. It was one of those, reading that in the text, and I was like, okay, I've said that the Ravnas are the most metal clan. Banu Haqim's a close second. Very close second. Yeah, so the other sect is the Preservationists, or also known as the Schismatics. So these are predominantly the viziers who have maintained their connections to humanity. Many of these Banu hold various religious beliefs, or they don't see holding a faith as contradictory to the laws of Hakim.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'll get into it in the history episode, but yeah, when Urshagi got up and then he watched MTV, essentially, and went, okay, I gotta burn the planet and start over. First thing he started with was the religious Banu.
Okay.
He was just like, I hate these 6 fish in particular. So we're starting here. And it's there's kind of a neat plot beat where apparently when he started doing this and was starting to eliminate the Muslim Banu, it was a faction of the Banu that are called the Leopards of Zion. and it's just a sect of Jewish Banu that went, "Ayo, stop, that's fucking crazy, dog." And then they got murdered.
Oh, womp.
Yeah, but also just the phrase "the leopards of Zion" just sounds really metal.
It does.
I was like, damn, dog, that's crazy.
That does sound scary.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so those that are schematic view the harm that Urshigi and his cults are as a global threat due to their desire to commit vampire genocide.
I mean, that's a bit of a problem. And
Yeah.
by a bit of a problem, I mean a very large problem.
Yeah, they're just like, hey, these guys are kind of accelerating the Gehenna Wars because they want to kill all vampires, and it's like actually starting to wake up Methuselah, and it might wake up an antediluvian. Like, this is like actually a big problem, guys. Huge problem.
Yeah.
Bad times. So these are the Banu who have aligned with the Camarilla through the leadership of Tigirius the Vizier and Al-Ashrad the Eldish / Amar, and Amar was the old term for the head of the sorcerers.
Mm-hmm.
These Banu tend to keep to the traditions of councils and courts to make clan decisions that keep each other in check and balance. So normally this would be the Duat and the Eldest were held as the highest positions, and we technically have that with them, but like, you know, they're still not a warrior, but they're mostly made up of the nerds.
Nerds.
Yeah. Thing I was unclear to see if this exists currently, but I think it would be a cool thing, is what is called the Council of Scrolls. And this is made up of renowned figureheads of various academic and arts backgrounds. And they were charged with teaching new technology and customs as like time rolled on. So they're just like, hey guys, so we got the Apple 16 now. I gotta... Like half of them, their whole job was just teaching grandpas how to use computer.
Okay.
But they had a whole group of people whose job was, all right, we got to get people up to date. I have a slideshow for you. Please don't panic and scream every time the slide changes. I now have to explain the phrase no cap.
What is that?
I don't think I could handle an immortal, never-ending vampire life of IT work.
Oh my god.
Like, that's one aspect of it, but then, you know, there's the ones who are in charge of arts and culture who are just like, okay, I'm running the Alamut Movie Club. Tonight we are watching Sinners. I don't know.
Huh?
Well, that's going to be the second movie. The first one is that one that the train just comes toward the camera.
Oh, yeah.
You got to get them in easy. Start them in easy.
I got to reacclimate the olds because
right.
They're so set in their ways they forget that movies are a thing. They're going to start with the train coming at them, and then we're going to do a silent movie, where they go to the moon, and then we'll show them Sinners.
Perfect. Love it.
Perfect. 10 out of 10.
That jump won't be a problem.
Not at all. This council was disbanded by Urshigi, and most of their members fled with Al-Asrad, and it is left unclear in the canon if they have rejoined and are redoing things, or if they're doing secret other missions, or if they're all in hiding. Also, the Banu tend to keep things kind of close to the vest, so you can kind of run with that however you want at your table. I just think that's kind of neat. There are some Silsila who decided, you know what? Nah, dog, nah, this is...
This is gross.
This is gross. I'm gonna go with Al-Ashrad. But a lot of the Silsilas were sorcerers, so a couple of those sorcerers were like, nah.
I don't really know if I like that.
Yeah, but they tended to be the younger religious and or like the more humane of the council that were just like, I'm gonna take my abacus.
And take it over here.
Yeah!
I'll find some other use for it.
Yeah, and it's also left super unclear what they're doing or whatever. So you could have a character who is like, yeah, I'm the contracts guy, I'm new to the city, hello, and he's like actually chill.
Mm-hmm.
And then he could secretly not be chill, or he's chill the whole time. He got a lot of intrigue options
You have
there.
some choices.
Yeah. As I said, there's a bunch of smaller factions that are cool and neat, and some of them are a little spicy. Feel free to explore those at your table. Bloodlines. There's not really bloodlines with the Banu Haqim. They've just had the caste system, which is like not technically in use in V5 anymore, but I think it's good in terms of like social dynamics. Because in previous editions, the different castes got like slightly different disciplines. Which, if you want to, workshop that with your ST, go for it. I've had fun with it.
Right.
And each of them also had slightly different campaigns.
Hey-oh.
Because the warriors, no matter what they did, looked like they did a Diablerie, whether they've done a Diablerie or not, in their aura.
That's kind of cool.
The sorcerers their aura would always read as magic in all capital letters, regardless of how good they are at magic or not.
Interesting.
Yeah, it would just be like, I'm a wizard! I cast fireball! Like, that's just what their aura is screaming constantly. And then the viziers just would get the Toreador-like, just hyperfixations.
They read a book and then they're like, ah, shit, I gotta pick up the second volume. And then 12 volumes in, they realize that it's an encyclopedia set.
Yeah, and now they have a PhD. I was like, fuck.
I didn't even mean to. God.
You ever just get a PhD by mistake? So, warriors.
Big whoops.
This is the most common type of the Banu. They trace their lineage through figures like Jamal, Bakr, and Manchikea. Yes.
You did great.
I did great. People are probably going to throw things at me, and that's fine. I'm bad at pronouncing. Their main tasks are to defend the clan and uphold the laws of Haqim, with various members among them sliding in and out of being mercenaries. That was just kind of mostly what they did. These are some of the only vampires who have dedicated their entire unlives to martial training, and that's all the fuck they do.
Oh.
So you can get vampires that are like, I'm good at swords fighting. And I'm like, are you?
Are you, though? Because
Yeah.
this guy over here,
Like, that's all he does.
he's good at sword fighting.
Yeah.
See him does a quadruple backflip in the air with the sword in his mouth.
I don't know if you've seen the memes that have been going on recently where it's like one person, but they're using camera flips to pretend to be two different people. But like one person's like, oh yeah, I'm squaring up for a fight. And then they cut to the other person and they just do a little thing and then they go back to the first person who's like, nah, I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm out. My favorite ones being, oh yeah, I'm gonna fight this bitch, da-da-da-da. Cuts to the other character and they start biting off their acrylics. And I'm like, oh no.
That you're in trouble.
Yeah, it's a fun time here. So, there's a tradition among the warriors to tithe any of their payments for services rendered to their sire, or like a portion of it, as a show of gratitude for their education and honor the one who judged them as worthy of death. So it was just like a, thanks, Dad.
That's cute.
Yeah.
That's cute.
I was just like, oh, that's kind of neat. So just, that's how you find out your child is still alive. You keep just getting random checks like, why did I get this check for $250,000? Shit. Okay.
Well, that's neat.
Proud of you, son. Just calls them and just like, Habibi, who did you kill? Wonderful. I've lucked out when I've been a player that the storytellers, when I've played a Banu, really like playing overly excited Arab dads.
Hell yes.
Which is an adorable character trope, and I enjoy it a lot. But, continuing on. Not every warrior is dedicated to fighting per se, with some having their focuses on weaponsmithing, armoring, tactics, cyber warfare, smuggling, and intelligence gathering. So
That sounds fun.
Yeah, so if you're just like, I would like to play warrior, but I'm like, I personally don't know much about, like, Muay Thai or anything, so what the fuck do I do? And I'm like, there's really pop, there's loads of options.
I love the idea of, like, hacker Banu Haqim, who's just, like, cyber warfaring.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Yeah, the older Banu Haqim are like, I don't understand, and then you're just kind of like...
Yeah.
And then just like, hold on, watch the screen. I have now released 40 drones. Just like, holy shit! I didn't know you were Ukrainian. Holy fuck!
Love it.
I don't like that. That's scary.
Yeah, there's tons of options where you're like, oh, that's neat. So yeah, like the Warriors, the way it's written is like they do have a very strong tradition for like various forms and schools of martial arts and being like, oh yeah, bro, show me your cool sword thing. I'll show you my cool sword thing. And it's very... that meme, what from Predator, where the two men do the growiest high five.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, you could totally have that, or you can have, you know, like a Hephaestus like character where he's all fucked, like he or she is all fucked up, but they're just like, I am the sword master, and everybody's like, no, we respect the shit.
You're right.
That's the one who makes all the swords. Or, you know, just, you know,
could you have one that's kind of like, I was gonna say kung fu, but kind of just the movie trait? Where it's just, like, the weird, overweight, wealthy criminal who's, like, not good at anything, but he's technically a warrior because he's just got, like, 3 children who are.
Yeah, that one might start to lose, like, personal honor if they're not, like, maintaining things. But there's a lot of room for, like, different body types and different types of people.
Not necessarily the body type, but I was thinking more just, like, the movie stereotype, but...
More
more
like
general,
the Godfather style.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Godfather, less. I don't do the fighting, but my sons do.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, they're like, my job is I train
Don't
warriors.
make me get my daughter involved.
Yeah. No, she's the craziest one.
Love it.
My son's
Get it,
quick.
girl.
Yeah. The
Her,
sons?
Not so much.
She prefers to take her time.
Yes. And that's going to be a big detriment for you. Yeah, no, there would be nothing wrong, and that would be a totally acceptable position of like, hi, what's your job? I embrace and train warriors to go out in the field and do stuff, and I stay here.
Yeah.
And
I like that.
That's
That's
totally
cool.
fair. As I noted, these Banu tend to be more straightforward. They also tend to be more physically fit. Though the warriors who focus on other aspects of combat may fit within the wider gambit of personality and body types. But there's a lot of truthisms around Banu being just kind of, like stoic warrior types. When I'm like, well, yeah, if most of the clan is warriors and a lot of the warriors are, I'm gonna go out in the field and do a stab.
Yeah.
They're just gonna be like,
kind of cold.
kind of grumbly.
Yeah.
My brain just went to, like, Hellboy would be fantastic
Mm.
as a character trope for this.
Yeah.
I
Where it's
can see
like,
that.
like he's still gruff and like I fight and get the job done, but I'm like, hey, he's got some quips, he's got some fun.
Yeah.
Continuing on, so the Viziers are the second most common type of Banu. They trace their lineages through figures like Abu Ilaf, Nocturnum, and Anath. Hakim made a lot of kids directly, so there's
Great
a lot
job,
of
buddy.
Yeah, he just says like, I'm gonna get it right, god damn it.
If I just keep trying.
Yeah. Until recent nights, only the Western vampires that really delved into politics seriously had a fucking clue that Viziers were a thing.
Oh.
So if you were not a Banu and you just saw one or heard about them, you're just like, ah, yeah, all Banu. They do stab. Nothing more. It is the stab clan. And then some vampires who really got into politics are like, no, there's these Vizier guys that are like way more chill.
Talk to them.
Please, if you can. Supposedly, the Viziers are the oldest of the cast, and it is said that Hakim was a warrior before he became a scholar, so he was maybe possibly trying to counterbalance his bullshit out by being like, I need to make somebody who does paperwork, fuck.
That makes sense. You can't embrace someone into another clan. You gotta have someone who's not stabbing.
Yeah, it's like, well, if I'm doing the paperwork, then I'm not stabbing. So,
Win-win.
Yeah. Viziers tend to keep to themselves unless they are taking on a protege to embrace or working towards a collective goal to benefit the clan. Otherwise, they're just kind of like, I'm in my lane. Which is kind of commendable.
Yeah.
These Banu are also the most similar to the Toreador.
Oh.
Which is part of the reason why the Vermillion wedding probably went the way it did.
Mm-hmm.
With the Viziers having their focus on arts, social acumen, and the closeness to humanity, they tend to be the ones that hang out with people the most to, like, learn stuff. And basically where the warriors are driven to fight and they kind of just have this innate desire to go do thing, action, straightforward. The Viziers are more driven to create and learn, which is weird for vampires.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Create. Learn, I guess, less weird.
Mm-hmm.
But create.
Yeah, they're just like, yeah, I want to make poetry or rugs or baskets or philosophy or, get good with politic.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. These Banu also tend to appear more human and unassuming, and this can range from stunningly beautiful and could easily be confused for a Toreador, to frumpy and disheveled, just kind of artisan. Just like guy that rolled out of bed from depression pile.
Right.
That whole gambit is valid, which is fun.
Get it, buddy.
And then we have the sorcerers, which are the least common of the Banu. They trace their lineage through figures like Shahiri and Urshigi. Whoops. These Banu are thought to have been mere legends until someone cracked the clan curse. We're gonna put a pin on that until the history episode.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So there's a lot of centuries where people are like, ah, yes, it's only the Tremere that do blood magic. No one else.
Wrong.
Who the fuck are you?
Super wrong.
When did you get here? And it just says there's
I've been here the whole time.
Yeah, just ha! Stab. Magic stab.
Magic stab. I cast stab.
Mm-hmm. The sorcerers have existed since ancient times, wielding blood magics to act as interrogators, spies, communications experts, alchemists, protectors, and demon hunters.
Ooh, demon hunters.
There's a whole bunch of stuff with the Banu Haqim just being like, we keep killing the Bali, and then they keep showing the fuck up, and then I kill them again. And then they show the fuck up. God damn it.
I just wish they'd stay dead.
Stop.
There was a new book announced the day of recording.
Ooh.
And they just keep coming back.
Which book?
They posted it. Someone posted it in the game resources. What book is it? It's
how many times I gotta teach you
Tattered
this?
Facade.
Tattered Facade. Is that like an official book?
Yeah, it's an official book. Literally, it says the very last thing. It's like what's it's got? It's like all kinds of different victims, rivals, innocents, monsters that you'll run into tonight, how to build city maps, new disciplines, blah, 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 blah. New threats, including the shape-shifting ghoul and the soulless Bali. There's kind of
How many times we gotta touch you this lesson, old man?
So they are back.
They're back, baby. God damn it.
Probably not playable, but they're back.
Yeah, Shady's back. I'm so glad I've done all this research. God damn it.
You're prepared already.
I'm prepared. I'm so prepared. All right. Where was I? I was so excited about this book, I scrolled and lost my place in my own script. Anyways, there we go. After the Tremere cursed the entire clan of the Banu Haqim, we'll get into that in the history episode, the sorcerers hit a bunch of issues.
Womp.
Yeah. So these scholars tried to protect their knowledge and break the curse levied against their clan that became their hyper-focus. Was just like, they did what now?
Get them.
I gotta fix it.
And by I mean the curse.
Yes. So yeah, just centuries of just throwing all of the spaghetti at the wall and just being like, how do I undo this? No, this is bad. I hate it. But while they were trying to do that, many within their ranks were slain over the centuries due to the Tremere plundering their libraries and reserves and also in-clan fighting.
Welp.
Due to the warriors being like, I'm better than you, get fucked, nerd, punch. That happened more than you would think.
I think it happened a lot.
Yeah, it's almost like when you have a cultic mindset that gives you supremacist thoughts, you feel justified in doing extreme violence even to those that you claim to love and care about, and it's in fact bad. Weird.
Shut
Anyways,
up, nerd.
Shut up.
Stab.
Stab. Get into the blood hole. What?
Don't worry about it. Stab, stab.
Just drain him into the heart's blood well. It's fine. Sarah, what's that? Don't worry about it. Talk about it on the history episode.
I'm worried about it, but we'll get to it.
Yeah, next episode. There's a lot of... History episode for the Banu Haqim is going to be a spicy meatball. I will try to go to a halal shop to get it. To get the produce. The protein for the meatball. Anyways.
Sarah, sounds like you're having #meatball problems.
You actually have a sticker that says #meatball problems.
Yeah, it's leftover from Confession Cam when someone gifted us 50 Jersey Shore stickers.
Jesus Christ.
That's why my house is covered in Jersey Shore references.
Okay. So.
It's just one of those #meatball problems.
God damn it. So those who lived through all of that bullshit for the centuries often hid among the viziers due to the warrior class believing that they were better than both the caste, and it was just easier for them to get rid of the sorcerers because they were the least numerous. They also were trying to protect their ancient blood sorcery arts. They're like, well, if I keep it secret and keep it safe, no one can destroy it.
I mean, that's a relatively good point.
And a lot of sorcerers were trying to play 4D chess. They're like, look, I just have to last long enough until we can break this thing, or something changes. I just got to make it work. So, which ended up being correct, because then when the political game vastly changed, they're like, aha, witchcraft! Secret resource, bitches! Literally Gandalf the White bullshit, where you're just like, I thought you were dead, and it's like, haha, wrong!
You thought!
Yeah.
That was your problem.
And then we have the Angels of Cain / the Banu Haqim anti-tribu. They never fell to the curse that the Tremere put on them.
Huh.
Yeah. And they often worked to seek revenge on behalf of their fellow clanmates who were cursed.
Oh, that's kind of cute, actually.
Yeah. It's left very unclear how or why the anti-tribu never really fell to the curse. A lot of them would follow the path of blood, some of them would do other paths of enlightenment. A lot of them got super involved in the Black Hand within the spot. I will talk about that in the history episode, because it is tied into Urshiki doing his big usurpation thing. So that's why I'm going to talk about it over there. But kind of a cool cultural note for the Banu anti-tribu. After the Convention of Thorns, they were a major force within the Black Hand, and they kind of lost their cultural ties with the Banu in general. So a lot of them kind of fell into a lot of weird, further fractionizing and infighting, because they lost a lot of this ability due to, the cultural traditions the Banu would normally have. So, that kind of sucks. But one tradition they did come up on their own that is kind of neat is the anti-tribu Banu maintained a ritual of diablerizing their eldest every 100 years.
Oh, shit.
Which, whoever would diablerize that person would become the new eldest for a century. And they would be 3rd gen, and they would also have obtenebration powers, because the original guy, who was the eldest for the spot, helped the Lasombra kill their antediluvian, supposedly.
Oh.
So imagine just a really yoked up Banu Haqim with shadow powers.
Scary.
Very scary. But I also think that's neat, where they're just like about that life, where they're like, no, we're not dealing with this fucking old man on the mountain bullshit. We're just gonna have one guy in charge, and he has term limits. God damn it.
It's wild. Like, I mean, I guess with their whole thing, they get it. But I would not want to be the dude.
Yeah,
you know,
well, you wouldn't have to be the dude.
Yeah, I guess. Who wants to be the dude? Like, when you're like, okay, I got it. I got 100 years. And then I'm dead.
Yeah.
But it's going to be 100 years.
Yeah. Well,
Weird.
it's kind of like a leftover of the Banu Haqim's like traditions for doing things selflessly for the community.
I guess that makes sense, yeah.
That's kind of a way of viewing that. So there's been some interesting, there's like a split within the anti-tribute, because some of them went, Urshagi, fuck yeah! That's what we've been waiting for!
Yeah.
And then some of them went, oh, that's insane!
This is a problem, guys.
So I'm just gonna slide back in over to the schismatics. And then some of them kind of just stayed with the Sabbat, being like, fuck it. So...
Well, we're here.
But these guys are a big chunk of the reason why the Sabbat aren't really much of a thing in V5 anymore. When you read the text, you go, oh, that's what happened. Okay. But that's a story time for next episode. For this episode, disciplines that the vampires get if the Banu Haqim, which is blood sorcery. For magic, you get celerity to go fast as fuck, boy. And then obfuscate.
So you can be invisible and moving fast as fuck.
Dude, being invisible and going fast as fuck.
Cool.
Dangerous.
Some of the scariest shit.
Having vanish and blink.
Yeah, and it's interesting because blood sorcery is a expensive track of XP to go for. So depending on how you want to stat and build your character, it does naturally, with the stats, divide people into the castes.
Right.
In a way that's like interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's been kind of fun. And there's also, because of the expansions for celerity especially, there's more applications for celerity outside of I run fast as fuck, boy. You also have I type fast as fuck, I research fast as fuck, I can search things fast as fuck. So if you want to be like a really like efficient like academic or like detective character, this is also a fantastic build now. So huzzah. There's all that.
Hold on, I have to look something up.
What are you looking up?
Wow. The world record for typing is 304.67 words per minute.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. So you got that, but then put celerity on it. I got 1,000 words per minute, boy.
I finished his dissertation so fast.
Okay, we're done.
Yeah.
The computer's lagging, trying to keep up with your typing.
Boy, I wish. It would make doing these scripts so much easier.
Bro, that'd be wild if your computer is the bottleneck to your typing.
Crazy dog.
I'm looking that up now.
What?
Oh, how many things can happen at once?
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess it would probably depend on what you're running it on, right?
Yeah, that doesn't answer my question.
Fucker.
Basically, what I'm reading is people can't type fast enough to really know. So that doesn't matter. So that's not...
Fair enough.
But most keyboards can't handle more than 6 button presses simultaneously. So that would probably be the closest to a limit. It would have to be within the time period that it takes between, and also the speed at which the buttons press, because they have to depress.
Right.
And you're not doing that physically. It's the speed of the keyboard.
Like the spring under it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably would need like a mechanical keyboard.
Even then, those have springs.
You'd have to replace the springs with something fucking wild.
Springier springs.
You have pneumatic keyboards?
You see, this is where you get a little vizier, you scruff him and go, listen to your little shit.
I need a keyboard.
I need a very specific keyboard. He's like, fuck yeah, on it. Turns out you just found a guy who's like really into watches. And he's like, my time has come. Perfect. Yeah, so Clan Banes. Good news though, I want to say real quick before I ADHD and forgot. All of the stuff for the Banu Haqim that you really need is in the player's guide. So you don't need to dig through like 6 books anymore.
Hell yeah.
Ew. So Clan Banes, the most common one is called, I'm referring to it as Amaranth. Doesn't really have a title. Basically, with this Clan Bane, slaking hunger with vampire blood provokes a frenzy. At difficulty 2 plus the Bane severity. If this test fails, they attempt to gorge on the victim.
Whoop.
Potentially attempting a full diablerie.
Damn, that's rough. Yeah.
We'll get into why this happened in the next episode. Oshigi fucked up a lot of shit.
Only
the entire meta plot of the game.
Only a couple things.
Yeah. Only the entire meta plot of the game.
That's one thing. Let's be real. I mean, he only fucked up one thing.
They only flew a plane into one building, John. I was trying really hard to get through this without a 9/11 joke, and then nope.
Sorry.
That's hard for this group of people to go a day.
It's the curse of being a millennial. Anyways, the other clan bane is referred to as noxious blood. Mortals drinking Banu Haqim blood suffer ag damage equal to the bane severity per rouse check ingested.
So it's just harder to ghoul.
Yeah, their blood cannot be used to heal mortals. So yeah, the Banu who take this clan bane, probably not gonna have ghouls, or if they do, it's like a whole thing. Note, the previous banes included the Banu Haqim suffering the Tremere curse, which was basically the noxious blood bane, but for the Banu and vampire blood. Yeah, I've definitely played multiple Banus, where we set this in the before times, so I had that clan bane with the Tremere curse, and players would forget this, and they'd be like, you're in torpor, or you're gonna frenzy, I'm gonna give you some of my VT, and I'm like, please do not.
I would really prefer it if you didn't.
Yeah, and then I was taking burning ag damage,
Well,
and they're just like, oh god, oh no, and I'm like, yeah, that's what the Tremere did to me. And my clan. Actually, there's several of us who have been captured and then forced led vitae to burn to death. It's kind of a fucking nightmare.
Good stuff.
Yeah. But Banu also had this thing in the old text where it was said that all Banu would get darker as they aged. Not like darker as in a grimdark noir detective having to take more cases from these dames, shakes fist. No, darker as in melanin complexion dark.
I like that.
Yeah, it's fucking weird. Yes, that was a thing. It was a thing in several editions.
That's not a good bane.
Bit of a problem there, guys.
That's super problematic.
Yeah.
Very terrible.
Not even problematic. I mean, it is. But,
is.
like, that's not even my main problem with that. My main problem is that just, like, sucks for storytelling or, like, balance versus other clans. It's like, what's yours? Like, oh, if humans look at me, I look like a monster and immediately cause them to frenzy. What about you? I can only feed on certain types of blood. What about you? My skin's dark.
I get darker as I get older. It's gross. I hate it because what it's implying with the mechanics is vampires, as they get older, generally become less humane and become monsters. Like, so you're tying somebody's state of melanation with how monstrous they are? That's a wild take, dog.
Yeah. It's also just
wild,
useless.
Take. Yeah, because it's like they can't go into the sun anyways.
Yeah.
So it's like they're not even getting, the protect. Like all of it's bad. It's so bad. Ha! And if you really need me to explain in more detail why this is bad, I want you to go check yourself as a person, please. This is icky, it's gross, but it's in the text.
I just want to know why you think you can get a good story out of that. Like, I don't. It's not even.
No.
Not even, like, all the problematic bits about it aside. That's just, like, boring.
Yeah, that's bad. At least
problematic
with, like,
and fucking boring.
Yeah, at least with the Tremere curse thing, there's, like, a whole plot thing you can do with it where you go, oh, they did what? That's horrifying. And it's, like, also implying that the Tremere are punishing the Banu Haqim by, like, branding them as Diablerists, regardless if they are or aren't, which I think is also, like, an interesting commentary on, like, Eastern versus Western, like, cultural issues over the centuries, and, the Tremere being like, nuh-uh, but what are you? Nuh-uh, I'm not bad, you're bad.
You're bad. I didn't do anything wrong, ever.
Punishment.
Yeah. Witchcraft. Which I'm like, narratively more interesting. Yeah, that one we're just gonna skip on past it because it's terrible.
We definitely didn't skip on past it.
I'm skipping past it now. We're just like, this fucking sucks. This is awful, and holy fuck, why? Clan compulsion. We're gonna go back to slightly betters.
Whee!
So, clan compulsion for vampires of the Banu Haqim is they are compelled to punish anyone seen to transgress against their personal code and take their blood as vengeance.
Vengeance.
For one scene, the vampire must slake a singular hunger from anyone, a friend, a family, or foe,
Damn.
who acts against their convictions.
Okay.
Failing to do so results in a 3-die penalty until the scene ends or the hunger is slaked.
So sometimes Banu Haqim are that really obnoxious straight edge kid at the party who are like, you're acting against my straight edgeness. I'm gonna have to punch you.
Yeah, and then you get into the fun double mix of if the person who has transgressed against them while they have this compulsion is a vampire, because then you get the Clan Bane kick again.
Spooky.
And it's a spooky spiral.
I don't want that.
It's like somebody set them up to fail. Can't imagine who would do that. Staring at you, or...
I don't know what we're talking about.
Listen, it's fine. It's not fine. Coterie merits, because I think these are cool. So for the Banu Haqim, it is called Call to Purpose. It is a 2-dot. Once per session, a Banu motivates a coterie mate that they can see with a rousing statement reminding them of their own convictions, or an intense stare to rouse them into action. The coterie mate gains the effects of a willpower point to use immediately.
Ooh.
The Banu cannot use this on themselves.
Interesting.
So,
Cool.
yeah, once per session, you can just go, hey, you're a good guy. Quit being a fuck.
Get it together.
Free willpower point to reroll some shit.
Oh, thanks.
Or free willpower point to, like, pause a frenzy for a moment.
That's cool. I
Yeah,
like that.
that's a really cool mechanic. I've used it a bunch. It's dope as shit. Highly recommend it.
Okay.
But yeah, that's it. We got through the first half of the Banu Haqim.
Woo!
Yay! Under 2 hours.
Ayo.
Yeah, okay.
I was concerned because this was like a 10-pager.
It was dense. I was trying to hold back
That's okay. So we're
my
at the end.
comments because I knew this was a lot. It got so thin I couldn't read it on my phone, the script on my phone anymore.
Oh no!
Because you know how it kind of like stretches it as the tabs out deeper.
Yeah.
They get thinner. It was like half a word long on the right side of my phone screen. I was just like, I'm not following this script anymore.
That's okay. That's why I turned my script to landscape mode.
Hey, wait.
Landscapes. I just put it up on a computer.
Damn, son.
That's
Damnscape
that's
modes.
why you're the thinker.
I guess. Okay, so if each one of us were in the Banu Haqim as a cast,
Which would be?
yeah.
I don't think the Banu Haqim would bring me in.
What do you mean?
Not enough discipline.
You can be taught discipline.
I guess that's fair.
I was gonna say Sarah's is definitely the scholar. You're definitely the warrior.
Oh god, am I a vizier?
I'm definitely
Jesus.
the artsy one.
Oh, you're a vizier and I'm a sorcerer?
Yeah, probably.
Shit.
We could flip, but
I mean, I do have jars of dirt I have taken from graves.
I've done that too, but I guess since I'm a warrior, it's a different reason.
Yeah,
Trophies. These are
You
the
do
graves
have a
that-
lot of bones.
Yep, these are the graves that I made. They were made thanks to me.
God, that's ridiculous. I was surprised you didn't want to take sorcerer considering all the weird, like, psychic esoterica bullshit.
I mean, it could go either way.
Honestly,
Yeah.
I think all of us could fit into sorcerer.
That's true.
Yeah.
We have all actively practiced magic.
Yeah, it do be like that.
So,
You know, it'd also be like
but I
that?
do like hitting things.
Yeah.
That is fun.
I
think
also
you
like
could be
stabbing.
the
You
most,
also
like-
like stabbing.
You'd be
This
the
is true.
most likely to want to hit and stab, I feel like. That's why I picked that for you.
That's fair. Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Give me a sword and
And I-
celerity.
And I gave you, and honestly, I just gave Sarah because you're by far the most educated and scholarly of the group.
I appreciate that.
We did meet in school, but we met in art school. You've been to real school since then.
I've gone to multiple art schools.
I didn't finish one,
Oh no.
so Not the
Cosmetology's an art.
I'm the least educated in the room.
Technically, yeah.
Cool. Fucking dumbass.
Thank you, Paralyze, for the music.
Yeah, great job, buddy.
Ew, go check them out on Bandcamp. Give them dollars
Mhm.
if you can afford it. Yes,
Mhm.
that'd be cool. If you want to talk to us on social medias, we have Blank Bodies Pod on Instagram, Blank Bodies Podcast on TikTok, and then just type in Blank Bodies on the Blue Sky.
Fucking dare you.
Yes. We also still have the shirt pre-orders up. I think we're gonna wrap it by the time we're done with the Banu Haqim episodes. I
Okay.
think that'll be good.
Okay.
So you guys got 2 more weeks
2 more weeks
to
We'll have
pre-order shirt merch from us.
We'll have to make a couple more reminder posts. but-
Yes, for sure. We are being understanding of the economy being fucking shit.
Yeah.
I also don't like being overly annoying with ads.
I also do not
so
like that.
I didn't want to spam y'all with it.
Nah, so it's just like, hey, we'll just like keep it open for a longer period of time, just to give folks like chance to be like, hey, it's there. If you want to order some stuff from us, we'd like you to have cool stuff from us.
Yeah.
And support a local business here in Indy and da 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 da.
I'll probably do one more ping or two. Just be like, hey, this is going away tomorrow or whenever.
Oh, definitely. Most of the pings will be on the last week to be like, hey guys, it's wrapping on this date.
Yep.
You have
Get
this
it in,
many
you
days.
little ADHD fucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or if you're ADHD, just do it right now.
Do it right now while you're thinking about it.
While you're thinking about it, don't forget. Just
Type
do it right
in
now.
blankbodies.com. Take
Click.
you to the link tree. Literally, there's a big picture with John and Hunter,
Click it,
and that'll take you to the shirts.
Yeah.
and then click the ones you want.
Yes.
And you can get one of the shirts we're wearing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ayo.
Whichever one.
And if you want to give us more dollar dues, we do have a Patreon.
Yeah, there's a lot of fun stuff over on Patreon.
Yeah, got the bonus episodes. We're getting through Kindred the Embraced.
Yep, we're doing 2 episodes this month. We skipped last month because of
Life issues.
mostly my medical just nightmares, but
Yeah.
other things happened. Sarah got trapped in another state.
I had to go to Boston.
You just had to go to Boston. That's enough.
It's fine. And then Hunter
moved.
had their issues. John moved. Yeah, last month was crazy.
Non-voluntarily.
Yeah.
Yeah, non-voluntarily. I was fleeing mold. Anyway.
Yeah, don't worry about it. It's fine. But yeah, if you like our work and want to support us, we appreciate your monies. Monies goes towards you being able to access the polls to help us decide what we do the show and bonus episodes, and helps us continue to do research and all the fun work and stuff. Hooray.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Support us.
We appreciate you.
Be our patrons. I've always wanted a patron.
Yeah.
Like old school style.
Yeah.
Where I live on a property and just make art and weird shit, and they, give me all the money I need to live comfortably.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be neat.
That would be neat. Unfortunately, don't have that. But
Well,
instead,
I mean,
what is neat...
With a community, we can have that.
Through community, all things are possible.
Yeah.
As the Banu Haqim have taught us. We also have an interview series, so if you do cool stuff in the gaming community, even if it's just, I make music, I do art, I do cosplay, you run LARPs, you develop game books, and you want to share them, you do things to support the community, both big and small, we want to hear about it and learn about your cool stuff.
Yeah.
So email us at blankbodies@gmail.com, and we'd love to talk to you about your cool stuff.
And if you can't get enough of my beautiful voice, we have a new show on our network. It's called Stinky Gamer Pleasure Dome, and it is a retro and indie video game book club type John. Me and John number 3 take turns picking games based on a theme. We rotate the theme monthly, and then we play them for 2 weeks, and then we talk about them. And the next episode comes out this Wednesday, 2 days. 2 days from this, if you listen to this day it came out. Otherwise, that's irrelevant. But we're talking about Blood, 1997 PC shooter, so it'll be a lot of fun.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, so the premise is y'all announce the game you're going to talk about and give the listeners like a couple weeks to test the game themselves, and then you talk about it?
Yeah, and we tend to focus on about the first 2 hours, the beginning part of the game, so no spoilers. But it's a good chance to hear about some new games, maybe find some you want to play. We try and keep them to older games so that they're actually accessible and people can play them.
Ayo.
We're not going to be playing $100 new games. It's all older stuff. We have a vague 10-year rule, but I doubt we'll stick with it as long as it's cheap.
I think, that's a good little...
I think that's a good move.
Good little window is 10 years old or cheap and easy to access.
Or indie games.
Yeah.
Like new indie games are chill.
Hell yeah.
I like
I'm
that.
excited for this. So, huzzah. If you want to talk with the lads about the Pleasure Dome, that we have a channel for it in the community Discord.
We do.
Yes.
Get in there and talk about old video games or new video games.
Yeah. And then get lower
kinds of
and
video
talk to other people about tabletop games.
Yep.
Yeah.
Get
Ew.
low.
Get low.
That
How
ass
low
down
can
the
you
flow.
go? Oh.
Something. Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.